everybody, this is Nir Bashan, author of the book called The Creator Mindset, which is a McGraw-Hill release. I am extremely happy to be here with Cynthia Owyoung, who published a book called All Are Welcome. All Are Welcome. How cool is that? How to build a real workplace culture of inclusion that delivers results. Cynthia, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Nir.
Totally. Very, very excited. I got a couple really good questions that I want to ask. But first of all, why this book? Why All Are Welcome? Why now?
I think in the wake of the events of 2020, after the murder of George Floyd, and especially with the ongoing pandemic that we're all in, it really brought to light the need for more social justice and equity in the world. And that's what prompted me to think about this book. And one of the reasons why I think this book in particular is a little bit different than most books out there is because you see a lot of books on diversity and inclusion written by consultants, and I'm an internal practitioner. And so this book is really about giving you the ins and outs of how do you really drive change in diversity and inclusion inside companies and what to look out for and how to really drive the implementation of it, which I think, as a consultant, you don't necessarily get that inside purview to really see it through to the end. And so I think that's why this book is important and what it provides.
So Cynthia, I love this. You are actually practicing this now. You are the director of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging at Robinhood, which is a very, very popular trading platform. Given that you have the inside view, how do you get people excited about talking about this?
It's really about figuring out what's going to inspire and motivate and connect people to this work, right? Because I think a lot of times there's this myth that this is all about a particular underrepresented group, whether it's, for women or for the Black community or for people who are disabled. And that's actually, a great part of the emphasis and focus, but it's not all of it, right? This really is about how do we make inclusion about everyone? And how do we use it to help make our companies better? Because we know that from lots of research done over decades that companies that focus on diversity and inclusion do better in the marketplace. They're more innovative, they're more creative, to your point about this podcast, right? They have better financial returns. And so it's really about building that case and getting people connected, not just like rationally, but emotionally, because it is all about everyone. I mean, everyone can think of a story when they've been excluded in their life, and how that doesn't feel good. And so I think if you can relate to that, you can relate to helping to drive change in this space.
Emotional connection, so important to the bottom line of business today. I love it, Cynthia. I have another question for you. Most books about diversity and equity and inclusion, belonging are kind of a top-down approach, right? But your book is organic. It embeds it in the organization and kind of percolates up. Tell me more about that.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't have success in this space if it's all about top down. If I am like in my ivory tower and not understanding the experiences, the lived experiences of people at other areas of the organization who are like maybe 7 layers down from me, then how are you actually going to design something that is going to meet their needs? So, there has to be some element of leadership commitment, but you have to also have buy-in from that middle management layer because they're the ones who actually create the experiences for your frontline workers. They're the ones that it's their teams and their management of their teams that really drives whether or not you're happy at work or not, right? If you have that sense of belonging or not. And so you have to have them bought in and accountable and driving this at that individual level. And then all employees, right? Like they're the ones who are bubbling up their needs. It's about, how do you get the grassroots involved because it's day-to-day experiences. It's how I interact with the people around me that drives whether or not I feel welcomed and I feel included. And so that's why it's necessary to have it at all levels of the organization and to really integrate it into your business practices.
So important, not just a top-down approach, but integrated organic approach. I love it. The book, again, is called All Are Welcome, How to Build a Real Workplace Culture of Inclusion that Delivers Results. Cynthia, thank you so much for being on the show. Last question before we leave. How did this book help with creativity? It's my pet subject.
Oh, absolutely. So, with more diversity, you get more creativity and innovation. I mean, that's proven by research. We see it in companies. I think you see it in your everyday. There are studies out there that show that the more disparate the perspectives are that you bring to the table, the more inventive people are in terms of their ideas and being able to generate a lot of them in a very short amount of time. So, it's really important to have more diversity inside your company so that you can tap into that creativity, tap into that inventiveness and innovation, and that will help propel your company forward.
Awesome. Love this. Book, again, is called All Are Welcome. My guest, Cynthia Owyoung, thank you so very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been fun to have the conversation, Nir.